Welcome, Dr. Shawnsteel here at the Shawnsteel Law Firm. We are Pro Chiropractic, the one Pro Chiropractic personal injury law firm in America. We're actually centered in California, and we are here to help. We do 2 to 5 minute videos, Alex and I. Today I'm going to do it. We're talking about the 50 rules of steel. These are clear-cut rules that will guide a good, healthy chiropractic personal injury practice for years to come. So we're going to do number 9. And number 9 is about patient selection. Basically, don't take that patient. Trust your gut. Well, what does that mean? You are a free person, and you don't have to serve every single person that comes into your clinic. And if it's not going to work out, the patient won't be happy. You know that in advance. You won't be happy, the staff won't be happy. Maybe it's time to make that referral and send them to another doctor that might do a better job for that patient. This will give you a lot of freedom. It takes worry. We discovered that basically 95% of your problems, your emotional issues with tough situations come from 5% of the patients. How about cutting that in half? I mean, just you're not going to get rid of all your problems, but it's a small number of people that really interfere with the well-being in your life, and also your productivity, and also your ability to do good, optimal PI work. So let's talk about 4 ideas when it comes to patient selection. We actually discussed this in rule number 8, and this is rule number 9, so we got 4 more new selections here that patients you want to think twice if you want to have a long-term investment. The advantage that chiropractors have over medical doctors, it's not even fair. You actually see and talk and touch and work with the patient. Medical doctors are distant, they're cold, they put on gloves, they wash their hands. They don't want to be near the patient. And the less time they spend with the patient, the better they feel. So there's a philosophical and actual performance difference between a chiropractor and a medical doctor. So you are in it for the real personal, intimate relationship with our patients, and sometimes it's not going to work out, and you want to keep your energy level high. 1. How about the patient that comes in with an etiology, a strange injury that you've never heard of before? And since we're talking about personal injury, is what the patient's suggesting that they hurt all over all the time, 100% of the time because of the trauma, is it reasonable? Does it make biomechanical sense? Or is the patient hysterical and prone to gross exaggerations? Some of those patients you can't take care of. There are special circumstances. Fibromyalgia used to be something that medical doctors laughed at. Now there's a whole element in medicine dealing with fibromyalgia. So it's become a lot more mainstream. But by and large, if you got really not a significant trauma, you look at the damage to the car, you've seen the police report, the patient reported it to you, and the patient says they got strange things that you've never seen before, be careful. That's a warning. It may be the patient with a strange injury mechanism and an unknown disease that's never been seen before. Now, good doctors oftentimes find the nature of the problem, and even though it may be strange, they're able to render a good diagnosis. That's good investigation. But more often than not, somebody comes in with a strange injury you've never seen before that doesn't seem reasonable. It probably isn't. Never hurts to get a second opinion, so. Number 2, watch out for the malingerer. That's kind of an offshoot of the same kind of situation, but this is the patient that's trying to commit fraud. They're making up injuries that just don't exist. They're claiming they can't do things, and yet you do exercise and you use those malingering tests to see how authentic the patient is. In personal injury, every single case, 70-80% of the value of the case depends on the patient's integrity and character. The jury doesn't like the patient, no matter how good the accident is. They're not going to get much money. They're not going to get much sympathy. So you got to have a patient that's truthful, that's honest, and if they're lying about the injuries, not much can be figured out on that. So that might be something, a discussion you have with the attorney and between yourself and the attorney about the patient, because if they're malingering and they're making up stuff that just simply is not reasonable, they'll be called out as a fraud before long in that case. Then you got a lien that may never get paid. So you're working on a patient who's not hurt, you present a bill for thousands of dollars, you may never get paid. So just makes common sense on that one. Thirdly, watch out for the discarded patient. What do I mean by that? The patient was basically fired by another doctor down the street. Maybe somebody you know. Well, find out what happened in that relationship, and whatever the story is, if it seems a little awkward, call that doctor. Say, hey, what happened between you and this patient? I want to find out. If I'm going to help the patient, I got a HIPAA release, so please tell me what's going on here. So that's just a common sense. Take that extra moment, because there may be a good reason for the doctor not wanting that patient in their office, maybe with the staff, maybe some conduct unbecoming. So you just want to find out, protect yourself and protect your clinic. And finally, this is my favorite, be careful about treating your relatives, especially your brother-in-law. I mean, come on. You know, especially in a PI case. Our cardinal rule is this: never treat your spouse. I know you don't want anybody else touching her, but don't treat your spouse and charge for it, because the insurance company is always their first line of argument. Wait a moment. You've been married for how long? Have you ever adjusted her before the accident? And you're going to say, yes, of course, I adjust her all the time. How much did you charge her? And you're going to say, I didn't charge her anything. Now, why did you charge her for this personal injury case? Well, you can't say because there's a lot of insurance. That just doesn't, pass the smell test. So be careful about relatives. Probably you should not charge much, because they don't expect you to charge anything anyhow. Watch out for the brother-in-laws or the in-laws. They probably won't appreciate what you're doing. And it's always a good idea just to keep things sensible and orderly, to refer them to a nice, friendly doctor down the street. Doctors, that's it for today. Keep in mind the 50 Rules of Steel. We'll be happy to give you a free copy. Maybe we'll send you a laminated copy if you say, please. We're easy to reach, Shawnsteel.com. We got a special section. We got videos. We got podcasts. We have newsletters. Sign up for a newsletter. We do it twice a month. Fresh, original content. We've got a bunch of articles that have been published, Dynamic Chiropractic, Kiplinger, and a number of other publications. We also have tons and tons of PI forms. Strictly good documentation on building good PI cases. So let us know if we can help you. We love doing this. And please become a YouTube subscriber. You know how much it costs you? Nothing. It's free. So become a subscriber. You'll feel better. I'll feel better. We'll all have a good day. Thank you.